This is Larry the Barberman. I'm here in Newcastle, the north east of England. Tom Baxter is making waves across the world with his new web series where he attaches a video camera to his head and gives the barbering world a Tom Baxter's view of his haircut. Tom is also an award-winning hairstylist, and I'm here today to find out Tom's story with hair. Tom, as you know, this is an inspirational web series where I interview barbers, hairstylists. I'm not quite sure where you stand because, as you saw in the beginning, I introduced your shop as Tom Baxter's. Is this a hair salon, hairstyle, barbers? Give me your take. Why is there no label?
To be honest, the whole bracket of what are you a barber, are you a hairdresser? I get that asked that all the time because I do work with ladies and I do work with guys. However, I try not to label it because I'm still unsure myself as to what barbering and hairdressing actually is, especially at the minute because there's a huge crossover between barbering and hairdressing. You see a lot of barbering in salons, and you see a lot of hairdressing in barbershops now, where there's a big sort of swing between barbers are using more colours now. They're using the curl in people's hair, they're adding texture to people's hair, where years gone by you would never have seen that in a barbershop. And then again with salons as well, I mean, salons are now starting to get training on clipper work now, which is more seen down the barbering road. So it's kind of trying to distinguish what is barbering and what is hairdressing, because it's clashed together. I don't label myself as a barber, I don't label myself as a hairdresser, I cut hair, and that is what I do. So like I say, for me, it's not about what you are, whether you're a barber or a hairdresser. If you cut hair, you're passionate about it, that's enough for me.
Okay, so you spoke about colouring and perming and all of these things. When a client comes into this salon, do they say, Tom, I want the curlers in, or is this something you talk them into?
It's something I 100% talk them into. I've been that way since I can remember. I mean, I did do barbering, and then I left barbering and went into hairdressing because I felt at that time barbering was dull, and it didn't appeal to anything that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a bit more adventurous. I wanted to sort of add colour. I wanted to add curl, and at that time guys wouldn't allow you to do that. I mean, it's different now. Guys would let you do it. So that's why I see a window where I can go a little bit crazy. I can throw some colour in. I can throw some curlers in. And to be honest, I think I've built up, over the years of the clients that I've got, I've built up a sort of a loyalty between me and my clients, so they know that I would never let them leave the shop looking silly or daft, or doing something so avant-garde that they wouldn't leave the house, they wouldn't leave the shop. So what I like to do is I like to sort of push boundaries with mainstream work. So if a guy comes through the door and he's got dead straight hair and he says, "Oh, Tom, what can I do with my hair?" And I'll say, "Listen, we've got opportunities now where I'll put a set of curlers in his hair." I mean, I don't necessarily put a set of curlers in, but what I will do is throw a set of GHDs through it, or add some sea salt spray and start curling it with a brush, just to give it a different spin, just to give the guy a different look for the weekend, rather than looking the same from going to work. I want him to look different for when he goes out on the drink, or when he goes out with his wife, or whatever. I want him to look slightly different. So for me, I always try and just push my clients on to sort of what's going on at the minute. So I'll say, there's a big boom on curling at the minute, you want to give it a shot. If you don't like it, you can just rinse it out. So I give them that mentality. So I won't do something that's permanent. But what I will do is I'll say, listen, try this, see what you think. If you like it, great. If you don't, wash it, it's out. And you can just go back to how you had it before. So it's just, I'll always push something on someone just to try and get people to, try and bring the area up as well. Bring the northeast, because you see all this stuff down in London and Manchester and Liverpool and all these places, but the northeast always has struggled for that sort of thing. So I'm not trying to be a one-man army. I'm just trying to push it on a little bit and raise the standard a little bit.
Okay, so that's talking about consumers. You fraternise quite a lot with the barbering community through the Great British Barber Bash and anything barbering. Are you not ridiculed within the barbering social circles about your, diversion, if you like, into colour and straightening and stuff like that?
Not at all. I mean, I've for instance, with the Slicks boys, I'm actually going down to see the Slicks boys, up to see the Slicks boys in Glasgow to do some colouring training with those guys. So, all right, I'm coming in with colour, but I mean, I really, at this moment in time, I really enjoy barbering, and I really enjoy being able to express what I like to do through barbering, through men's hair, because that is a passion that I've got about men's hair. I do love men's hair, and I'm loving the fact that men's hair now is you're able to add colour, you're able to curl. And if you look at Salon International now, if you look, like say for instance at the World Barber Final, I think every single man that was up there who was a model had colour in his hair. Probably because they knew I was going to do it, but everybody had colour in the hair. And that's the way it's going now. It's great, and me going down there, it's and seeing it, it's great. I mean, I'm not ridiculed. They wouldn't dare.
All right, so now we've kind of spoken about where you kind of sit in terms of hairdressing and barbering. Where did you actually start in hair from the beginning?
To be honest, when I started, I didn't set out as a childhood dream to be a barber. I don't think anybody does really. What I did was I was 15 at the time, and we had a football tournament in Barcelona with the school, and there was all the lads who were going to play football. You had an option: you either shaved your head or you got it bleached. I didn't fancy a shaved head. I didn't think I suited one, so I thought, I tell you what, I'll get mine bleached. Now, the only place I knew that bleached hair was here. So when I was 15, obviously we knew of the shop. It was Terry's back then. So it was about 3 or 4 of us decided to come up and get our hair bleached. So I was getting my hair bleached, and there was a bit of bother. He had 2 shops at the time, the guy who owned this. He had a shop down in North Shields, and he also had a shop here. So he was saying about one of his members of staff down in North Shields had left, and he was going to send one of his staff here to run the shop down in North Shields, and they needed a junior. And I overheard him talking, so I said, listen, I can go after school for 2 hours on a night, like 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock. And that's what I did. I went down there for 2 hours a night, every night for a year or so. And then I left school. I didn't know what to do. And I got on really well with the guy who owned this place. And he just turned around and said, look, do you want to do an apprenticeship? And then see how you get on. So the 6 weeks holidays came, and at that time I agreed, but I was devastated at the same time because everybody else was doing the 6 weeks holiday thing, and I decided that I was going to do an apprenticeship, and I started to work. And then so as the weeks and months went on, I started to enjoy it more, and I really got into it. So that's pretty much how it started, by accident, really, by getting my hair bleached.
Okay, so while it's on the subject of apprenticeship, just a quick question. What route do you think people should come into here? Should it be a barbering school and then straight onto the shop floor, or serving the 2-3 year apprenticeship?
If I'm honest, in my opinion, it's totally down. For me personally, I don't like to see them come from college. It's nothing against the colleges, and I'm not a massive fan of academy work. That's just personal preference. I prefer to have a junior. I think you're more rounded if you come into a salon. You work alongside the barbers who you're going to be working for. You watch them work. You take everything off their hands, and you just kind of get better and better and get introduced into the barbering and meet the clients, rather than just getting thrown in. So like the clients grow up with you as well as a junior, and you just improve as you get on. So I would do like a 2-3 years on the shop floor, young 16-year-old, get them in, get them working, get them sweeping up and seeing what's going on, how things work. It's good to be able to see how the shop works, so he gets a whole, real understanding of the barbering from the bottom. Because sometimes I feel it's kind of like, I feel you have to work from the bottom to the top to really understand it, to really get to grips with it, rather than kind of doing like the university thing and then all of a sudden jumping in. You're missing out on the bottom bit, and the bottom bit is the best bit, I think, personally. So
what you're saying is that to become a good hairstyling, it's not necessarily just your skill set with the clippers and the scissors, it's actually building rapport with the clients, yes, letting 100%. Them grow up with you and 100%. The business.
I mean, I've still got guys who, when I very first started cutting hair, and I was taking chunks out of their ears and I was taking huge piles out the back of the neck, so when you're learning, as you do, everyone does it. The guys still come through the door now, and I remember when you were a young lad cutting hair, and you build up a relationship with your client, and I feel that's very important. I mean, obviously you get new clients who come through the door who've seen you on Instagram or whatever, but you sort of spit and sawdust clients who stay with you. I think it's great if you can build them up from being such a young lad and then building up a relationship with your clients as well. As just because I'll be honest, a lot of my clients are actual friends of mine that. The clients, but I've made friends through that, and that's barbering, that's hairdressing. It's because you're so close and it's a really personal thing. Your hands are all over this guy's head. I mean, there's only 3 people in the world who should touch a man's head, and one of them's a barber, or a hairdresser, or a stylist, or whatever you want to call it. Having that relationship, it's a friendship, isn't it? Everyone's got their barber who they go to, or their stylist that they go to, and it's a friendship. So yeah, I think it starts from the bottom, and you get better as you get higher up.
Very interesting take. And also, like I introduced at the beginning, you've got a web series at the moment where you strap a camera to your head. Tell me how this came about and what you're hoping to achieve by this. It's definitely, got traction.
To be honest, it was one of those things where it's just like an idea that kind of snowballed. It was one of the girls who I work with on the Trade Hair Supplies artistic team, and we had a little chat about it, and she was saying, how do you cut men's hair? I could never cut men's hair. And I'm thinking, well, tell you what, I'll put a camera on my head and I'll show you. Ha ha, have a laugh. And then I thought, actually, that's not a bad idea. So I made a video for her, and I said, look, listen, I'll do it for you, and we'll have a look and see what you think. So I made it. It's called Lindsay Ford, by the way. But anyway, I made it, and she watched it and said it was great. And then the first video wasn't great, it never is, and it just got better. And then I thought to myself, do you know what it is? This is actually, like, when I watch tutorial videos, I always see the guy with the camera, like how your cameras are set up now, where behind the guy you can see over the top of the shoulder. And yeah, you can kind of see the haircut taking shape, but you can't really see the details of it. However, if you put a GoPro on your head and you angle it down so that you can see what your hands are actually doing, how my wrist's flicking, where my fingers are, where the sections are, like, perfectly. I think it's a better way of learning because you can actually see it from what I'm seeing. So, you want to try and replicate that, and you're saying, oh, well, he's put that section just above that. Yeah, but I can see it from a bird's eye view. And it kind of snowballed from there. And then obviously I started getting more and more adventurous with them and adding colours to it and all that sort of stuff. And everybody started saying that they really liked watching it and enjoyed the view that it was at. So it made us just keep going, and I think I've made like 20 videos now. So I'm well on my way to making a big series.
And what kind of average views are you getting on this at such an early stage in this web series?
The biggest views that I've ever had was about 85,000, and that was, I was lucky enough to be asked by Camisari to be their brand ambassador, and they gave me, they put me on their websites and stuff, and they've got huge followings, and obviously it just snowballed from there, and it went well over 80,000. The ones I'm doing at the minute, I'm sort of getting between about 35 and 45,000 views. So yeah, I mean, I put one on, and within a week it's up to like 35, 40,000 views. So it snowballs.
Okay, and you do, whilst on the subject of education, you're a stage artist with the Great British Barber Bash. Can people expect to see you with this strapped on your head? Because at every Barber Bash that I've been, they've always got the big screens.
Yeah.
Is this a possibility?
Well, I'm in London in February with Gary and the Barber Bash team, and I'm also on stage with the Trade Hair Supplies team as well. You'll see us in London with that strapped to my head. It'll be the first time I've ever done it, and I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit anxious about it, as you would be walking out in front of 700-800 people with a camera strapped to your head. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show it out there, and I'm just going to I'm basically going to show anybody who wants to be a stage artist or a platform artist or whatever, what you're looking out at seeing. So, what you expect to see, and expect your heart rate to bounce when you stand on the stage and you look out and see a sea of people. So you're going to get to see what I see, you're going to get to see me cut hair, you're also going to get to see the audience as well, and people's reactions. So yeah, we'll see how that goes when I get that on my head.
So you're all about giving sneak previews of life's coming attractions?
Pretty much,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Product-wise, you've actually brought out your own product, and again, there's a story behind why you brought out your product. Can you share this with us, please?
Well, I mean, the main reason that I brought products out, it wasn't to try and push products onto people to try and make hundreds of pounds and all that sort of stuff. It was more so the type of work that I was doing, the type of work that I'm doing at the minute, the styles that I want to try and create. I wasn't finding a product that I liked, I believed in. I mean, I've tried every product that there is. I mean, every major brand, I've tried them. I've had them in for periods of time, and I thought, you know what? Rather than reps coming in and lying about what the product does, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make one, get one made, or sort of speak to people who know somebody who can make them. And like I say, obviously, we met the guy who does the branding and all the products for us, and the products that he's got are amazing. So the reason that I've got them is so that it improves my work, but it also, I can give them to clients and give them this exact same product that I'm putting on their hair, but I'll give them the education behind it and why I'm using it and what I'm using it for, and the best use it's going to be for them. So, like I say, the reason I got my own in was to make my work better, because I believe you've got to have a product. Because haircut is a big thing, but the styling of the product, the styling of the hair, is equally as important as the actual haircut itself. So you need a product that's going to hold it, especially when the guys are out in the nightclub sweating heads off. They want the hair to be up and stay there. So I wanted a product I could believe in and give it to them also. So yeah, that's why I got it.
So you wanted to make a difference in the industry.
Exactly.
Okay, and what would you like to see changed in the barbering industry, in the hair industry right now? What are your dislikes and what would you like to see changed, if possible?
There's not a massive amount that I would like to see change. I mean, I think I'm really pleased to see that the bringing the sort of female barber thing's kind of really kicking off, and you're seeing more female barbers now. I think that's great. I'm not a huge fan of the terminology of female barbering, but I really, because I've got girls who work for me, it's just, I think you don't need to put the word female on. I just feel that the word barber is enough. It's for me, it's slightly degrading to them to call them female barbers. Just call them a barber. I'd like that to stop, for starters. Just call them a barber, because that's exactly what they are. They're as equal as we are, so why why demean it? Apart from that, I'm really enjoying the fact that there's a big crossover from hairdressing into barbering, and barbering now has become a point where it's a lot softer. The finish is a lot softer. You know, where you would have a guy go into a salon if you felt he needed a much softer haircut, you would go into a salon. And they're all coming into the barbershops now because the barbers are sort of training in hairdressing and creating that softer look. So, in terms of, I mean, I don't know. I mean, in terms of things changing, I think it's going in the right direction for me, to be honest. I think that gel between the two is exactly how it should be, and it should continue to be. So yeah.
And I just had a thought in terms of education, because you educate on a kind of grand scale with Gary's things are, 500 to 800 people on stage. That's the masses. Do you do any kind of smaller, more personal, intimate classes, or is that achieved through the webcam?
No, I do. I mean, I work for the NHF as well, the National Hairdressing Federation. I do demonstrations for those, where it's a class of about, I mean, I've done a few which were like 25 to 30 people, but they seem to be growing in numbers all the time that we do them. So I think we're up to about 75 people. So that's quite intimate. I do go into salons as well on a bit of freelance stuff. I do get like salons contact me through social media and ask if I'll come and do a demo day or some whatever it may be, and that could be for about 6 to 8 people. And then maybe I'll do maybe 2 hours in the morning where I'll be demoing, I'll be doing haircuts, and I'll be demonstrating what to do and why to do it. And then we'll move on to the afternoon session, which will be just them kind of going at what we've talked about, what we've done, techniques, and me just kind of overseeing it, just making sure that, that they're firing in the right direction, sort of thing. So, I mean, I do also stuff with, like obviously the Federation and freelance stuff, and the Trade Hair Supplies as well, who's they're basically like a sort of wholesalers basically, and obviously they've got big clients, and they obviously just get me to go into their salons and do the same thing as what I do freelance, but obviously I do it for those as well. So,
having said that, thinking aloud, the webcam is actually like having a one-to-one lesson. if you think about it, because it's such a tight crop and you just see your hands. So if you're talking at the same time, your web series actually gives them the opportunity to get one-to-one training.
Well, it was one of the reasons, it was one of the ideas that kind of made it kind of snowball as well, because I said to, a while ago when I was doing a class in Carlisle, the girls, I was doing the haircuts, and the girls always say, do you know what it is, I really enjoy these classes, but I always forget what happens by the time you've gone. I think just imagine someone had a camera on their head and you could see what they were doing, you could just keep constantly replaying it, and then you could just watch it whenever you wanted. So that was another reason why I started doing it, and like, I'd obviously done it as a laugh to start with, and then obviously it kind of like lots of doors were opening, because when you do educate people, like, I mean, it's the same when, you know, you're trying to learn anything, you watch the guy doing it and then you think to yourself, wow, it's amazing, and then you can't really remember what he's done, because you kind of fixated on what he's doing, and then you're looking at it and you're thinking, yeah, it's really good, but what was the step after that one? I can't remember. But like, you know, if you could just do like an instant replay, like on a football match, just rewind it and then have a look, that would be so much easier. So I thought, well, why don't I just record, because I've done it before where I've done demonstrations and had a camera on my head. So why don't I just record what I'm doing, and then I'll just give you the copy, and then you can just do what you want with it. If you want to rewind it and watch it again, rewind it and watch it again, it's up to you. And then you can take that and I'll make some more. If you want some more, let us know.
Okay, so we can expect when you do these small intimate classes that they can then go back and watch the video of the day where you've strapped it on your head.
Exactly, so you can see exactly how I can see it.
So you mentioned the National Hair Federation. You've actually won some awards with them and other people. Tell me about some of these awards that you've won with them. And
the National Hairdressing Federation did the Northeast Championships a few months ago now, and it was what was it? It was the champion barber, which was the overall. There was the best look and best cut on the day, and luckily, I won all three on the day, so I won the full lot. But yeah, I mean, I've done quite well. I mean, I only started entering competitions last year. It was only a year ago. The very first one that I entered was the Barber Bash one. I got down to the final on that one. Got a finalist in the British Master Barbers. World Barber of the Year. Came runner-up in the World Barber of the Year, and then I won the National Hairdressing Federation, and I won first degree last year also as well. So I've done all right, considering I've only been doing it a year. I've got plenty glassware. More to come, hopefully.
Yeah, if you come runner-up, you can go back and assess, and that should push you up to the #1 position in years to come.
Well, next year.
Okay, that's the goal.
That's the net. I'll get it next year.
And who would you say your biggest inspiration in barbering, hairstyling, hairdressing? It's neither here nor there with you, but tell me anyway.
In terms of inspiration, I mean, I really enjoy. I get a lot of inspiration from hairdressing as opposed to barbering. I mean, I really enjoy. I think what Jamie Stevens does, I really enjoy his work. I suppose as far as inspiration goes, I don't necessarily look to one person or one thing for inspiration. It's always a really hard question to answer, I think, when someone asks you for that, because it's like, sometimes you just come to work and you just do it. You know, like I haven't really, when I enter competitions as well, I don't necessarily have a plan of what I'm going to do. I just kind of do it. And I suppose inspiration comes to you in ways that you don't really know. I mean, I really like Mickey Graham's work. I think he's flawless. Again, I Darren Jones. I mean, he's the master, isn't he? And Jamie, like the likes of Jamie Stevens and A.D. Phelan, people like that. And sort of Hooker and Young as well. I mean, the stuff that they're doing at the minute for the Northeast is fantastic. And I mean, all the avant-garde stuff that they do, the stage work, all the wigs that they wear, and I can look at a wig or I can look at something that's totally crazy, and you know, in a million years you could never put that on a client and walk out the door. However, you can take pieces from it and think to yourself, do you know what it is? Yeah, it's a bit nuts. However, if we're toning this down a little bit, I quite like the shape that it is. We just need to make it a bit more mainstream, a bit more every day, rather than kind of like a big spike sticking out the side of someone's head. You know what I mean? So yeah, I suppose that's where I get my inspiration from. I think I just grab it from anywhere and anywhere. So not one person in particular, just a series of events, I suppose, leads to inspiration, doesn't it?
Okay, and are you a brand ambassador for anybody?
Yes, Commissary Shears sort of very nicely asked if I would be a brand ambassador for them, and that again came from the videos. I actually sent them a video. I sent them a video because I had bought a pair of shears off them a couple of years ago, and I really liked them, and I says, look, I'm doing a video using your shears. If you like it, let us know. And then I got an email back like minutes later saying that they really did enjoy it, and that if I would make them 3 more videos, if they would send us 3 pairs of scissors out. So they sent us out the Commissary Diablos. They also sent out the Serenity and the Black Diamond, and asked if I would do 3 videos for those. So I made the 3 videos, and Zaki, the guy who owns it, really liked the videos, and I'm still making videos for them now. And he contacted me, he said, would love you to be a brand ambassador for us, so you just continue to make the videos, and we'll continue to send you the scissors. And he's just sent us, they've actually just released the Art of Shaving, which they've sent me a shavette, which is very good when I can find it. I don't know where I put it. But yes, I'll show you this video. I'll show you the shavette, which I don't have. It's here somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it. But yeah, anyway, they sent us out a shavette, and also the feather razor as well, which you get with every pair of scissors that they send you. Just everything that it's just a really nice brand to be with, because everything's just such high quality. But yeah,
performance-wise, I can't pronounce the name of the brand. Why does this particular brand do it for you in terms of shears and scissors?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not just saying this because I'm brand ambassador for them, because I used them before I was brand ambassador. I just feel like the qualities, like, it's just really, really good quality. I'm not saying that the better quality than I am saying the better quality than any ones that I've used, but I'm not saying the better brand than anybody else. I'm just saying that for me personally, you're not going to get a sharper pair of scissors or a more precise pair of scissors, to be honest. I think they're, without doubt, the best scissors I've ever used, to be honest, so yeah.
Tom Baxter, thank you very much for giving us this interview and shedding some more light on your web series and where you're going with it, and what you are, whether you're a hairstylist or a barber. I'm sure you've answered a lot of questions for a lot of people, and I wish you well in your web series, and just carry on doing what you're doing. You're obviously doing something right.
Thanks, Larry.